They had some information on their plans that did not pan out over the summer. They shut it down and went dark. CNN cannot independently confirm that report. Joining me now, former CIA military Tara Mahler, who's currently a research fellow in the National Security Studies program at the New America Foundation. I appreciate you being with us. Tell us why a terror group goes dark. Exactly how does that work? What does it mean?
Well, in this case, again, it's not been confirmed, but I did read Josh Rogan's piece in the Daily Beast. And what might happen is that there might have been a stream of intelligence or reporting or information about an upcoming plot, an upcoming attack. It might have been fairly vague. It might have been general. It might have been based on signals intelligence. It might have been based on imagery intelligence. And then a channel, a certain intelligence channel might have been sort of stopped and no new information was coming through. And this could be for a variety of reasons. It could be because the attack itself was no longer in the planning stages. It could be because they got better about their communications. Again, based on the Daily Beast report, it's hard to say exactly why this may have been the case. So it's too early to say the specifics, but those would be some reasons that that could occur.
But when a group decides to, when a group goes operational prior to an attack, is it traditional that that chatter dies down, that they go dark, and to use that phrase?
Well, let me just make one thing clear. It's not clear from this actual report whether or not it was a very specific attack with a time and a location and a place. If you think back to the PDB, for example, before 9/11, and you remember what the content in that was, it's now public. That talked about bin Laden using
that's the
planes to
presidential
strike.
daily brief.
The presidential daily brief, right? That talked about bin Laden using planes to strike, not to determine to strike the U.S., but it didn't talk specifically about how the attack would be carried out. So it's possible that they had a stream of reporting, general reporting about certain types of attacks. It's not clear if they had specific intel on a specific plot with a specific target and location. There's been talk about toothpaste being used in terms of special non-metallic explosive devices and clothing being used. But again, we don't know how specific and credible the specific information was about an attack.
It's also interesting because traditionally, the last couple of years, when U.S. officials have talked about sophisticated bomb-making abilities, it's really been in reference to al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, particularly a bomb maker believed to still be in Yemen. There's been some reports that perhaps, and again, this has not been verified, perhaps that bomb maker has trained others, and that knowledge has now spread to this group in Syria. How likely do you think it is that an individual bomb maker trains others who then spread that to other countries?
Well, in terms of Khorasan itself, I mean, there's a few reports that are out there about connections to special bomb-making capabilities. So that's one side of the story. But the other thing is that they were sent to Syria to work on the, campaign in terms of helping against put together and remedy the rifts between, ISIS and the Nusra Front, which we've seen in Syria. So there might have been multiple agendas to this group. They also seem to be operating with a focus more on catching fighters with Western, origins, and that seems to be the special focus of this group. Again, it is likely that, terrorist tactics can be passed on from group to group, whether that's through learning online, through internet manuals and magazines, whether that's through actual contact with affiliates of other groups. I mean, that's a common phenomenon that we see in terrorism, is adoption of tactics either taught to them by other groups or learned about through other groups, perhaps unintentionally by the, bomb maker, himself, through magazines and jihadist internet forums. So both of those can be possible, but again, there's not confirmation on those actual reports in this case just yet, at least not in the press.
Tara Mahler, I appreciate you being with us. One of the things U.S. officials have not clarified is exactly how big they believe this group, Khorasan, really is. Indication seems that it's a relatively small number of active personnel in it. But again, there's been no confirmation publicly, at least, about the size of this group. Several Westerners have been beheaded at the hands of ISIS in Syria, of course, as airstrikes continue. What, if anything, is being done to try to keep other Western hostages alive? We'll discuss that as we get word.